Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Giselle and today we are going to be talking about Beach House. I am very excited to be talking about them because they are my all-time favorite band. They've been my most listened to artist for the past 2 years, I believe, and just in a general sense, they're always in my top listened to artist. I love them so much. I have been listening to them for, I want to say, 5 years now. I started listening to them when I was 16, and I'm now 21. This is kind of random, but someone on my last video commented saying that I wasn't old enough to watch Saw because I wasn't an adult, and I was like, babe, I'm 21. But yeah, I've been listening to them for a while, and I love them so much. So we are going to be ranking them. That's just the easiest format for me to do to talk about them. But I'm not gonna say that I'm ranking them from worst to best, just because I don't want to call one album the worst, because I just love all of them so much that just feels wrong to me. So I'm going to phrase it by saying I'm ranking them from the one I connect to the least to the one I connect to the most. So yeah. Also, I'm wearing different earrings today. I'm wearing gummy bear earrings. You can really see them that well, to be honest, but it's whatever. And I decided to put my hair up this time. I normally don't wear my hair like this. Normally it's in a higher bun, but I look like an egghead whenever my hair's in that hairstyle. And then last video, my hair was super frizzy, and like my hair is just perpetually in that state, and oh my god. I look so chopped in that video, and I didn't want to look a mess again, so my hair's up, and then I have new earrings on today. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to the ranking. I cannot believe I'm putting the self-titled in the last slot, but alas, I am. I love this album. Like I said, I love each of these albums. I think all of them are masterpieces. But in recent years, I've been listening to it less and less, but I still do really adore this album. This actually used to be one of my favorite Beach House albums. I believe it was the second or third Beach House album I listened to, so I've been listening to this very early on, whereas other albums like Devotion, I only just started listening to them last year. The way I listen to music is by going through an artist's discography album by album, and I listen to that album for a couple of months or weeks at a time before I move on to another one, just so I feel like I have a good grasp of what I'm listening to. In recent months, I've been listening to playlists a little bit more, trying to make playlists, but it's so hard. People who make playlists, genuinely, that's a talent. I can't do it that well. I've made a couple playlists and they're all okay. Yeah, I started listening to Beach House 5 years ago, like I said, and I started with Teen Dream, and I listened to that for a couple of months before moving on to Bloom, I believe, and then the self-titled. And I just slowly chipped away at their discography. I was saving some albums as I didn't want to consume all of their music at once, because like I was just too scared to get into it, because I just knew I was gonna love it so much, and it was just gonna be like, I get really overwhelmed. I get very emotional and attached. So I was putting off listening to some albums, but now I've listened to all of their 8 albums. I haven't listened to B-Sides and Rarities yet, but I didn't want to include it anyway, since it's not like an official album. But maybe I'll make a separate video once I do listen to that, and the EP Alien. The Become EP. Alien's a song on that. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, I used to really love this. I mean, I still really love this album, but it used to be one of my favorite Beach House albums. I remember whenever I was watching Skins, and I got to Michelle's episode in season 2, and the entire episode is soundtracked by Beach House. Oh my god, it is so perfect. I low-key think that because Beach House is the soundtrack for that episode, I hold it in a higher regard, and if it wasn't the soundtrack to that episode, I probably wouldn't like it as much, because let me tell you, some shenanigans occur in that episode. Some tomfoolery. Anyway, but yeah, it's just a very magical, whimsical, sort of gothic album, and it's fabulous. Their most popular song off of their Master of None, I believe, has been sampled by other artists like The Weeknd. It's just a very fabulous album, and I'm going to now talk about some of my favorite tracks off of there. Starting with, I think, my favorite song on there, it's going to go to Childhood. I love that song so much. It's so light and airy, and it feels a lot like childhood, but not in just like a reflective, nostalgic kind of way, also in a sort of like despair almost. You know, you have to let it go, and you've sort of grown out of being a child, and now you're like an adult, a lone individual who's having to take care of themselves, and it's just like a little sad to have to let that go. But also fun to reminisce on those childhood memories. Anyways, I love that song. The piano melody, like, I don't know what you would call it, but just like the piano in the background of this, it's so, every time I hear it, I just, oh my god, I want to gush and just, I love it. Next, Master of None. I already talked about this a little bit. It's just one of their most iconic songs. I love the beginning where it's like, I don't know what instrument it is. It might be a synth. It kind of sounds like chimes, but I don't think it is. But it's just like slowly bringing you into the song, and it's so magical. The instrumentation on this album is really unique. I think that is why I really love it so much. It's not a sound that you hear in music a lot. I feel like it's very like individualistic of Beach House. It's very like, it feels like sort of their signature, like their sound. But yeah, Saltwater, that's another good one. I believe that's actually the first song that the Beach House duo, Victoria and Alex, ever wrote and composed together, so that was an exciting fact to learn. It's just a very sweet song. The lyrics are very, like I said, sweet and just romantic in a sense, and I don't know, I love it. Yeah, I think those are my top 3 songs off that album. Like I said, it's a brilliant album, but I think there are just other ones in their discography that I enjoy, or that I listen to more frequently. So yeah. Okay, next up we have 7 in 7th place. This is actually the most recent Beach House album I listened to. This was the last one that I had to listen to that was left on their discography for me. I listened to it, I believe, earlier this year, so I haven't even been listening to this one for a full year, so for all I know, this one will maybe grow on me in the future and have a higher ranking on this list, but for now, it is in the 7th position. I do really, really like this one. It has a very dark atmosphere to it that I feel a lot of people really, really enjoyed, and I honestly was pretty stunned when I listened to it, because it just felt like so subversive from their usual sound, which is so funny because like they have quite a few albums where it's like that, where it sounds so much like Beach House but not at the same time. Another example would be Depression Cherry and Once Twice Melody. They feel like such like how do I word it? Like, you know, like it feels like such a sharp turn from their usual sound. But yeah, I really enjoyed this album. It has a really cool cover. I'm curious, does anyone know who's on the cover of the album? Like, it's a woman's face, and she's like, sort of like collaged and cut up, but I am curious if anyone actually knows who it's supposed to be, because I have no idea. But yeah, it's a really good album, just not my all-time favorite. So yeah, I'm trying to say more about it, but to be honest, I can't really think of anything. It's a very mysterious album, and I get why a lot of people like it. Like I said, it's a very unique point in their sound. None of the other albums really sound too much like it. But yeah, I'm just gonna mention my favorite songs now. I really can't think of anything else to say. I'm sorry. I'm not a music critic, guys. I'm just a guy, okay? So I think my favorite off of this album is probably Last Ride. I really like the piano at the beginning. It sort of has like an echoing kind of sound to it, which I think is cool. And it's not like an electronic piano or anything, or at least sometimes you can play like a classic piano sound on an electronic piano, but it sounds like a real piano is being played, like a grand piano or an upright piano. And I really like it. It's a nice song. It slowly builds, which is some of my favorite songs from Beach House, the ones that take their time to really develop and just take you on a ride. On a last ride. But yeah, it's a lovely song. I think it's kind of underrated. I'm looking at it on Spotify, and it has the least amount of listens off of the album, and I'm honestly pretty shocked by that, because I feel like it's one of the best off of the album. But yeah, I love that song. Next, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's in French. I'm gonna try my best, but L'Inconnu. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I'm not saying that again, but the French song, track number 4, it has a really cool, like, intro where it's back and forth, sort of repeating the lyrics. You hear it once, and it moves to the other side, and it's very interesting. I've never really heard anything like that before. You get the French breakdown in the middle of the song. Un, deux, trois. Those are like the only 3 words in French I can say. She says, I think, the numbers from 1 through 7, but I butcher all the other numbers. So I'm not going to be singing those. But yeah, it's just a fun song. Also, I think kind of underrated on the album, but I really like it again. Yeah, I don't know. It slaps to me. And it's cool to hear Victoria sing in French, because I believe that is her native tongue. So yeah, we never really get that in any other songs, and it's a treat to hear her speak in French. Next, Lemon Glow. This is the most popular song on this album, and I feel like that's for a reason. It's iconic. It has such a fun, like, backtrack to it. I don't know what noise it's supposed to be, but it's like, do, 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 do. It's just like this weird little, I don't know. It's a funky song, and I like it a lot. Everyone likes it. And also, I've said this to my little brother so many times. I've never been to a club. I'm 21, but, like, I mostly just stay home and do nothing but, like, listen to music and watch TV. And like I said, I don't really go out. I've never been to a club, but I've heard a lot of things about clubs in, like, recent times, and how they've sort of lost their magic and allure, and how it's just, like, weird, skeevy guys just wanting to hit on women, and the music isn't good anymore, and it's just, like, not a vibe anymore, and that makes the idea of going clubbing even less appealing. But I always focus on the part where people say that it doesn't have good music anymore, and I would just like to say, I highly recommend putting Lemon Glow in a club playlist. If you're a DJ or if you're in charge of the playlist for a club, like, put Lemon Glow on there. That's gonna get people grooving. It's a club song. Changed my mind. I don't think you can. But yeah. If anyone ever hears Lemon Glow in the club, that's when you know you're in a good atmosphere. You're in a good place. Okay? Anyways, last but not least, Dark Spring. I was just gonna do like a top 3, but some of these it's so hard to pick just only 3, so I decided to throw another one in there. The drums to this, very iconic. It's the first song, it's the first thing you hear off the album, and it's just like right in your face. And what else? Oh, I've heard quite a lot of people say that it has a similar sound to Candy Claws, and now that people have pointed that out to me, I can't unhear it. I've only listened to the one Candy Claws album. I forgot what it's called, but it's where Pangea Girls is on. And just from that album alone, I'm like, yeah, that is very reminiscent of Candy Claws. Anyways, those are my favorite songs off the album, and my thoughts on 7 as a whole. Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest right now. When I first listened to Once Twice Melody, I believe in 2023, or maybe it was late 2022, because I wasn't as big of a Beach House fan whenever I first got into them. I did really like their stuff, but at the time I was more into, I believe, Wise Blood and this folk rock band from Connecticut. Shout out the Brazen Youth, love them. So those were really like the things that I listened to the most. And as I've, gotten older, I've gravitated more to listening to Beach House. But when this album first came out, I did not really like it. I didn't really get it. It didn't click with me. And I hate to say that because, like, I'm such a Beach House truther. The fact that I wouldn't like an album from them ever is just, like, sort of blasphemous to me. But I also think, like, it has its own merit being able to say that, like, you've learned to appreciate an album whenever you didn't first like it. So yeah, I now really like this album. What was I gonna say? I'm sorry, I'm having like a brain fart moment again. I had one last video too. Anyways, it's a concept album, I believe is what they've said. Supposed to be sort of like reminiscent of a fairy tale. That's what the album cover is supposed to portray. That's why there's only, this bothered me for the longest time, and then I figured out why. There's only gold lining on 3 sides of the album. On one side, it's not there, and it's because it's supposed to be like a fantasy book, and you like open it up. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. I'm not gonna lie though, this is still probably the ugliest album cover that they have. And like I said, I love them. I'm a truther, but it's really not that good. I'm sorry. I feel like they could have done picture book, storybook a lot better. I don't like the cover for this. But I do love the album, and I love that it comes in 4 segments, and each segment gives you sort of a different experience and atmosphere. And it's also just really long. How many songs are on this? 18 songs, and it's an hour and a half. That's insane. Yeah, it's grown on me a lot since it first came out, and I'm really glad that that's the case. I don't really know how to describe this album, to be honest, because it is so multifaceted. You have some really shimmery songs, you have some very, like, transformative songs that sort of, like, start in one place and completely shift. You have a couple of electronic songs, and by that I mean, like, Victoria's vocals are a bit more, like, mechanical versus, like, her usual sort of grand operatic type of singing. And then you have some acoustic songs, which to me was one of like the biggest like jaw-dropping moments in this album, because I'm a big fan of acoustic or folk music. Folk is probably my favorite genre. And for Beach House to include an acoustic guitar in some of their songs on this album was just so whimsical and magical to me. I was so happy. That's actually probably one of my favorite songs on this album, the one that features the acoustic guitar, Sunset. I find it so impressive that they managed to merge their dream pop synthy sound with an acoustic guitar. I feel like that's quite hard to do, and they did it beautifully. Another song that I really like is Many Nights. I believe this is the least listened to song, what I'm looking at here on the album. And again, I'm just like, what? I'm so surprised, because this song to me is like a lullaby. It just puts you to sleep, so soft and tender, and I'm just like shocked that not more people like it. Next, I'm gonna put a couple more favorites in this one just because this album is so long. But another one that I really like is Hurts to Love. That one, I don't know what it is about it, but it kind of reminds me of the 80s. It's a groovy kind of song, but it also is not like overly upbeat at the same time. It's an interesting song. I like it a lot. It's weird, but like it works, you know? Next, Through Me. I think that's probably my favorite song off of this album. I remember when I first listened to it, this was like the only song that I really liked off of the album. But yeah, now it's like I still love it, and it's still my favorite. It's just like, I have a friend and he described it as ear candy, and I don't have a better way to describe it, because it truly is just ear candy. It's so pleasant on the ears. Every time I listen to it, I want to dance, and I'm like, oh, it's so good. And then last but not least, the self-titled track, Once Twice Melody. It's, like I said earlier, it's very shimmery. It reminds me, I don't know if they use this instrument, but it sounds a lot to me like an omnichord. And the song literally just sounds like it's sparkling. Like, it's such a magical song, and I love it so much. And I can see why they decided to choose that as the album name, because it's like one of the standout tracks of this entire album. Anyways, yeah, those are my favorites and my thoughts. Depression Cherry, yet another album that I wasn't initially the biggest fan of. This album has had a resurgence in my personal life this past year. Prior to this year, I liked it, but I was not in love with it in the slightest. It is, I think, one of their most experimental albums, especially following Bloom. It was like probably the sharpest turn they ever take with their sound. And I really just didn't click with it the first time I listened to it, and for a couple of years after that. And I think this is probably one of their highest regarded albums, and I was confused for the longest time because I was like so in favor of their other albums. I was just like shocked that this was the favorite, one of the favorites, but I get it now, guys. I get it. And I have to say, probably the coolest title to their albums, Depression Cherry. It's just like, it's so fitting that is the color of the album. Like, that color has no other name. It's Depression Cherry. It's just so fitting. Anyways, but yeah, I grew to love this album, and I'm so glad that I did, because it is so epic and like, just like, you know, it's one of those mind-blowing albums, and I honestly just cannot fathom the fact that there was a time where I didn't really like it all that much. But yeah, this album is just insane. Every time I think about it, I'm like, it is so probably the most different sounding album that they have. I believe, did I say that about 7? I might have said that about 7, but honestly, I think it actually goes to Depression Cherry. And they have some really unique, I don't know what to call it, but just like elements in their tracks off of this album. Some of my like favorite moments in songs from their discography happens in this album. The guitar in Sparks, it's just so like loud and heavy and driving. It's like it's crazy. Alex is so talented. He is, I feel like, a very underrated guitarist in general, because he plays a very understated role. It's not like he goes on these crazy riffs. Not that there's anything wrong with playing like that, but like his style is so different, and I almost want to say elegant, because he just knows exactly when to come in, how much to give, and sometimes it is so subtle, but it just absolutely makes the song. But this is one of the cases where he just absolutely rams on that guitar, and it just absolutely takes you to the stars. It's so awesome. Love Sparks. And Sparks actually used to be my least favorite Beach House song, but now I love it. It's great. But yeah, the guitar in that is amazing. The spoken word in PPP is enchanting. I love it. What else? Oh, I also really, really love the choir at the beginning of Days of Candy. That is probably my favorite moment in any of their songs. Just listening to that first, I think, 40 or so seconds of the choir is so heavenly, and I just am blown away every time. And I think that is probably my favorite song off of this album, and definitely one of my favorite Beach House songs of all time, Days of Candy. It's so good. It's so emotional. It's, again, one of those transformative songs that just absolutely takes you on a ride and has such a strong development. Another song that I also really love, like I just mentioned, PPP. It's one of their most popular songs, and I honestly just, anytime I see like a ranking of Depression Cherry songs and I see PPP is like on the lower half, I'm just like I can't wrap my head around that. It is like, I feel like objectively one of their best songs. Beyond Love is one that I also really love. There's a lyric in there that I hold really dear to my heart, because I have OCD, and I read it as OCD. And I don't know, it was comforting to hear. And I guess Sparks. I was gonna say Levitation, because that used to be one of my favorite songs off of this album, but I think it goes to Sparks now, because it's just such an insane song. Yeah, I think those are my favorite tracks off of there. There are just so many good ones on there. This is a little off topic. I can't really understand why Space Song is the favorite off this album. It's an incredible song. All of these songs on this album are incredible, but I always get so shocked every time I look at the plays that each song has, and this one has 1.5 billion, whereas PPP only has 100 million, and I honestly think PPP is the stellar track of this album. My favorite is still Days of Candy, but I feel like that song is not catered to everyone. But yeah, I can't wrap my head around that. But I do love that song. Anyways. The fourth slot was really hard for me to pick, because I was fighting between Thank Your Lucky Stars and Bloom. I almost put Bloom here, but I decided to go with Thank Your Lucky Stars because I think I listened to it just a little bit less. But I love this album. I think it's one of the most underrated Beach House albums, if not the most underrated Beach House album. And the fact that this came out the same year as Depression Cherry is absolutely insane to me. Two absolutely magnificent albums back to back. Crazy. It has a really cute cover. It's just like a girl on it and like the title, and it's like in this really nice font. It's so simple, but it's a cute cover. Probably again one of my, I think my second favorite album cover actually, from Beach House. But yeah, a very underrated, like I said, album. I think this one was more of that classic Beach House sound, that sort of gothic, like chimey, mysterious type of ambiance, whereas Depression Cherry, like I said, is very experimental. Okay, sorry, I'm like, I'm a little sleepy. Anyways, this album versus Depression Cherry, I feel like is a bit more consistent in sound, not quality. I feel like they're both neck and neck in terms of quality. They're both stellar in quality. But this one has more of like similar sounding songs, whereas Depression Cherry, to me, there's a lot of songs that are very different from each other. It's more of like a collage, whereas this is like a very thorough and like knitted together sort of album. Anyways, my favorite songs off of this album are Majorette, the opening track. I really love the initial drums that you hear on that. It just like is not like just abrasive. It's just nice and steady and just, you know, puts you right in the mood, and it's just a very lovely song. Next is Elegy to the Void. That is another one of my all-time favorite Beach House songs. It has, I feel, some of the most amazing instrumentation in their entire work of songs. I was gonna say discography, but I was like, how many times have I said discography in this video? Anyways, but it has some of the best instrumentation, I feel, has really cool lyrics. All of their lyrics are so interesting to me because they paint such a vivid picture. I learned that originally they were going to call themselves Beach House on the Moon, but then they decided to just keep it as Beach House, and I honestly feel like Beach House, I like Beach House, just Beach House. Beach House on the Moon would have been nice too, but it is a little long. I say that, but then my username is Octopus Death Spiral. Yeah, that's kind of long. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Beach House on the Moon, I feel like, is the exact atmosphere that their lyrics paint. They have such a like specific and distinctive like aesthetic to them. Anyways, moving on. And then one of my I know I've said this already so many times, but one of my all-time favorite songs, probably in my top 5, is Rough Song. I love this song so much. I had a really bad year last year. I'm having a really bad year this year too, but I also had a bad year last year. I have OCD. I've mentioned this a couple of times. My OCD is really, really bad. I have what's known as pure O, and I was just like in the trenches basically, and this song really, really, really just like helped me get through it. I absolutely adore this song. It's so comforting. It's called Rough Song, but it is like the complete opposite of that. It is so warm, and I love it so much. The ending to this song is fantastical. It is just like, oh my god. I can't even put it into words how amazing it is. Just, if there is any song on this album that you listen to, I highly recommend listening to Rough Song. Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful song, and it's a beautiful album, and I feel like it should get more appreciation. Okay, so we've moved on to the top 3 albums, and in the third slot, it is Bloom. I feel like whenever I think of Beach House, this is the first album that comes to mind. I feel like this is really signature Beach House. Their like known sound, their defining sound is this album. And it's just such a grandiose album. Like, it's one of those albums that like nearly no one has like any qualms with. It is just like a perfect album, and it is so highly regarded, both within the fan base, but also just like in the music industry as a whole. Not industry, like music community as a whole. Anyone who's ever heard of Beach House has heard of Bloom. That's like their, like, I almost want to say magnum opus. It is just such a strong album, and you can't think of Beach House without thinking of Bloom, I feel. But yeah, it's a fantastic album. It has absolutely insane run-throughs. Like, it's just like back to back to back to back to back, completely stellar songs that are perfect, and they mesh together so well. One of, I feel like, their all-time best songs is the opening track, Bloom, and it's just like, it absolutely sets the bar for the rest of the album. It's like every song that follows it is equally as incredible and just like grandiose. Like I mentioned, it's like it feels so big. It takes up so much room because it's just like of how I can't even word it. It's like it's so good, and it feels like it truly just encompasses its own space within the universe. Like, it is so just magical and mythical. Anyways, my favorite track off of this album is probably, oh my god, this is hard actually. I don't know if I have a favorite. I feel like there might be ties. Maybe it's Myth, but I also kind of want to say New Year, and I also kind of want to say Other People, but I also kind of want to say Lazuli. Let's just say they're all tied. I love all of them so much. This is like truly one of the albums that I have the hardest time picking a favorite, because ask me tomorrow and I'll probably say Wild, on the Sea, and Irene. It'll change every day, because just like each song on this album is insane. Like, I have tried to explain, but probably did so poorly. Anyways, I want to talk about Lazuli specifically, because it has this very iconic little melody in the intro, and it carries throughout the entire song, and it's so, like, I keep reusing the same words, but it's so whimsical. I think it's absolutely enchanting, and I cannot listen to the song without thinking of Minecraft, because Lapis Lazuli. I did hear in an interview that they decided to call this track Lazuli because Victoria has like a fixation on words and how some of them sound, and she felt like the sound of that word really just encompassed what the song was mirroring. But yeah, it's a beautiful song. I absolutely adore it. Yeah. I'm running out of steam, guys. I just like I don't have any more adjectives to give. All of these songs are incredible. All of these albums are incredible. Basically, go listen to Beach House if you haven't listened to Beach House. Okay, in second place, we have Teen Dream, the first Beach House album that I listened to. I truly did not think any other album would ever top Teen Dream for me. And then I listened to Devotion last year, and it ended up becoming my all-time favorite Beach House album. But Teen Dream, it's a very important album to me because I have been listening to it for so long, and I started listening to it in a very bleak time in my life. And it's just gotten me through a lot. It's just a very bright album, I feel like. A lot of their other albums have more of a darker atmosphere, almost like you're in space, or Devotion has like sort of a winter kind of ambiance. That's what it always reminds me of, or like being next to a warm hearth during winter. This is probably the opposite of that, like a bright spring day. I was gonna say summer day, but I don't like summer. I truly do not like summer. It's summer right now, and I'm not having it. I live in Texas also, so it is boiling hot. Ugh. I miss being in Alaska. I was in Alaska 2 months ago. I can't believe it's already been 2 months, Jesus. And I wanted to stay so bad because it was so nice, the weather up there, guys. Okay, back to Teen Dream. But yeah, it's just an important album to me. I will always be attached to this album. And like I said, it's one of their brighter, more upbeat albums, which I really appreciate. It has 2 tracks on here that are very important to me, like I said, in terms of like comfort and sentimentality and just like getting me through a hard time. Anytime I'm down in the dumps, I will throw on these songs, and that is Silver Soul and Take Care. Silver Soul is sort of like whenever I need to just like feel my emotions and let myself be upset, and then Take Care is sort of the aftermath of that and me taking care of myself. I did learn that the lyrics in Take Care are supposed to be targeted towards herself, or like reflecting upon yourself. She's reflecting on her younger self and wanting to sort of look after her own self and like be there for herself, rather than like being there for another person. I think it's sort of like Mitski's My Love Mine All Mine, where like you can interpret it however you want, but that was the actual intention. And I feel that has been a great comfort to me listening to it. But yeah, it's just 2 really, really amazing songs, and I think both of them are some of their most popular songs ever, especially Silver Soul, which also was sampled. I don't remember by who, but it was sampled by somebody. I think Kendrick Lamar, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think he sampled it. But this is another one of those albums where I have such a hard time picking a favorite. I just want to pick like half the songs on the album because they're all so good. And also, I believe this was their album that really cemented them as like one of the best dream pop duos. I believe this is what really threw them into popularity back when it came out in 2010. They were already pretty successful with Devotion and Beach House, but this one really put them on the map. Anyways, some of my other favorite tracks alongside Take Care and Silver Soul are Norway, Walk in the Park. I'm just gonna name like half the album, okay? Lover of Mine and Better Times. I think my top 3, if I had to narrow it down, it's probably Silver Soul, Norway, and Take Care. Norway is probably my favorite song to sing to, like my favorite beach house song to sing to, because that is like the only song I can nail beginning to end. I say nail, but I'm not like a crazy good singer. I'm not even a great singer. I'm just a decent singer, and Norway's the one song where I feel like I'm handling it at least at an okay level. But it's just a fun song to sing, and I think it's kind of underrated, low-key. But yeah, those are my favorite songs off Teen Dream. Last but most certainly not least, my all-time favorite beach house album, as I mentioned, is Devotion. I absolutely adore this album. It is one of my favorite albums of all time. I'm trying to think what my favorite album of all time is. Low-key, it might be this. I'm like, whenever you like are specifically trying to think of something and all of a sudden everything you've ever, listened to just disappears from your mind. That's what's happening. But truly, I love this album so much. Like I said earlier, was very surprised when it ended up becoming my all-time favorite beach house album, because I truly thought Teen Dream was just gonna be in the #1 spot for me forever. And then I listened to this, I believe September or October of last year, and I was just absolutely blown away. This is kind of a crazy little fun fact about me, but this album ended up being my top album of last year, and I only listened to it for 2 months of that year, which is insane. I played the shit out of this album last year. I love it so much. I had to stop playing it for a little while because I was like scared of overplaying it, because I was just listening to it way too much. And now that I own the CD, I especially listen to it even more. This is the only beach house CD that I have. I do want to get all of them eventually, but I'm not trying to spend my money willy-nilly, so I just decided to get my favorite. This is hands down my favorite beach house cover. It is so beautiful, look at it. And then, what was I gonna say? The cake on this. This cake I plan on getting a tattoo of on my arm, like right here. I haven't gotten it yet because I wanted to get another tattoo first, but I keep like changing my mind on what exactly I want it to be. It's going on like my hand right here, and it's gonna be a heron. And originally I had a design that I really liked that I wanted, but I kept thinking about it more, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna look good in that spot, so I decided to change it to still a heron, but in a different position. It's gonna be like with his wings stretched out. I wanted to get that one first, and then I was gonna get the Devotion cake. But yeah, I absolutely love this album. I want to make the cake in real life one day. I'm not a big cake person, but I will do it for Beach House. Maybe if I it's kind of cheesy, but maybe if I get to like 100 subscribers one day, I will make the cake as a little celebration. Anyways, we're just gonna talk about how this looks for a second, because it is, like I said, beautiful. The back of this also very stunning. There's a little kitty cat right there, and I think they missed the opportunity to put a golden cat there, or like a yellow cat, a ginger cat, because there's a lyric in Astronaut where they say yellow cat, and I'm like, come on now, you can have. Anyways, but I still like the black cat. It's cute. I'm gonna open it up. Try not to let your jaw drop to the floor. Are you ready? The CD is not in here because it's in my CD player. This is my CD player. I got it for Christmas. I love it so much. It's perfect. I put some stickers on it, ocean themed, of course, because I am an ocean lover nerd. And then here is my proof. Boom! That's where it goes. It basically lives here 24/7. I barely ever take it out. I think the other album that I listen to the most is probably Grace by Jeff Buckley, but for the most part, this is in here. But just feast your eyes, okay? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is gorgeous. I don't know who took this photo, but whoever you are, holy moly, you are a magician. This is like insanely beautiful. Look at this. I don't know what type of flower this is. I used to study flowers. Like I was in a, hold on, my cat's knocking on the door. Okay, I'm back. You can see my cat right there. Anyways, back when I was in school, I used to be in a floral design class, and I was on a floral team for UIL. It was like a FF8, I forget what it's called, it's been a while. But it was like a school thing, and I studied flowers, and I used to be really good at identifying them. Now I can't really tell, to be honest. It kind of looks like a dahlia, but I feel like I'm wrong. Anyways, but it's just a beautiful photo. And then this is also a beautiful photo. It kind of reminds me of the cover of the self-titled album. It's just really pretty. And I'm not even gonna show you guys all of this. The booklet that like has the lyrics for the songs. We would be here all day, but this is also really pretty. Just a quick little. Anyways, now that we're done just talking about how pretty it is on an aesthetic visual level, the atmosphere in this is just the most heavenly thing I've ever listened to. I swear to you, it is so warm and comforting. It has this dichotomy in it where, like I said, it's like a cold winter vibe, but then it has the comfort of like being next to a warm fireplace or a hearth of some sort. Anyways, we're gonna talk about my favorite songs. Again, I'm gonna list like half the album because I just can't help myself. I think my all-time favorite song on this album, I think this is hard for me to pick my all-time favorite beach house song. I think it's a tie between these two songs, Silver Soul from Teen Dream and then Astronaut off of Devotion. It is undescribable. It is just like it's like floating in space, being surrounded by the stars and the planets and the sun, just like the whole expanse of the universe right at your fingertips. It's out of this world. Pun intended. Astronaut. It's just such a beautiful song. And it has some of my favorite guitar riffs. I don't know if you would call it what melody. You know what I mean. Some of the best guitar playing from Alex is in this song. There's a live recording of this that I will link. That's on YouTube. They're playing in a cathedral in Australia, and oh my god, what I wouldn't give to have been there. The acoustics in that church, insane, and it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, just one of my favorite songs of all time, and my all-time favorite beach house song, tied with Silver Soul. Anyways, moving on. Next, I would say Heart of Chambers. This one is one of their really strong lyrical songs. It's a beautiful song as well. I love it so much. Just like, I can't really say anything else. All of these songs are just amazing. Gila, that to me is one of their like witchy songs, kind of. I don't know how else to describe it, but like when I listen to this, I'm thinking of a witch, you know? It gives me, I know I said this is like a winter album, but it does give me slight like October Halloween vibes. And I learned Gila is a lizard, I believe. When I was thinking of what beach house tattoo to get, I almost decided on getting a Gila lizard, but I was like, nah, I gotta get the cake. And I've seen a couple of other people with a cake, and it looks too cute. I want it. So, the cake it is. Next is Holy Dances. This song makes me feel like, it's just, like, every time I listen to it, I melt. In a good way, not in a Texas summer heat kind of way. And then last but not least, You Came to Me. It's such a good song. It's so cute. There's like the ending where she's just like, la 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 la. And I just like, I wanna. If I did not embarrass myself last video, then I have definitely embarrassed myself this video. Anyways, those are my favorite Beach House tracks. My ranking of the Beach House albums. I feel like there's something else I should say, but I feel like I said it all. I truly wish Alex Galley the happiest of happy birthdays. I hope he's well. I cannot believe that him and Victoria are in their mid-40s now. That's crazy. Well, he's 44, but she's 45, so they're in their, close to being in their mid-40s. Excuse me. I love them so much. I feel like they are the dream pop band. If you ever wanted to get into that genre, this is where you would start. They're just so amazing. I'm so jealous of anyone who's going to see them this year because they're playing with the Strokes. That's crazy. In New York, I believe. And I really would love to go, but those tickets are expensive, so I'm not gonna see them, unfortunately. But maybe one day. I really hope to see them one day. Anyways. But yeah, they're my favorite band ever. They're the dream pop duo, and I truly cannot praise them enough. Please let me know what your personal rankings are for the albums and what your favorite songs are, and if you have like anything to say regarding my ranking, I would love to know. Just don't be rude. Don't be a jerk, okay? Anyways, I think that's it. I feel so awkward right now. I don't know where this feeling came from, but anyways. Bye-bye. See you later. I feel so